Good morning, Cullman. Thank you for joining us on Cullman Today. I'm your host, Christine Wiggins, and today is Thursday, February 13th. Coming up on Cullman Today, the city's financial report, Gudger hires Shed, and Karlowicz testifies. All of this plus sports, weather, and more. Now let's take a closer look at the top stories happening in Cullman today. The Cullman City Council met Monday and shared the city's financial report for the first quarter of the fiscal year. The months of October through December of 2024 saw a slight decrease in revenues, down just 1.2%, but a substantial decrease in expenses, 18.7%. Council President Jenny Folsom noted that final financial numbers from the 2024 Christkindl market have not yet come in and are expected to offer a big boost to the revenue totals for December and the first quarter. Those numbers should be available at the council's next meeting. The financial report also showed that as of December, Cullman County's unemployment rate was 2.7%, tied for fourth lowest in the state. The Cullman City Council meets at 7 p.m. on the second and fourth Mondays of each month in the City Hall auditorium, and the public is invited to attend. Alabama Senate President Pro Tem Garland Gudger announced on Wednesday that Representative Randall Shedd will serve as his office's Director of Constituent Affairs beginning next week. Shedd will resign from his House seat that he has held since winning a special election in 2013. Gudger remarked that Shedd's reputation as one of the most responsive, hardest-working, and tenacious members of the Alabama House gives him confidence that Shedd will bring that same dedication to his new position in the Pro Tem's office. Shedd said deciding to step away from the House was difficult, but he looks forward to joining Gudger's team and working to make an already great state even better. Having served in numerous positions, including chairman of the Cullman County Commission and mayor of his hometown, Fairview, Shedd describes leaving the House as bittersweet, but says continuing his public service with Pro Tem Gudger is a welcome offer that he was happy to accept. He currently serves as House Majority Whip, which is the third highest position in the Republican caucus's leadership structure, and chairs the House Transportation, Utilities, and Infrastructure Committee. Wallace State Community College President Dr. Vicki Karlowicz provided testimony in a hearing today focused on workforce development. The hearing examined how community colleges and industry partners are preparing students for high-demand careers. Dr. Karlowicz provided valuable insight into Wallace State's workforce training initiatives, highlighting the college's success in equipping students with the skills needed to thrive in today's job market.
My remarks today are intended to answer the questions of how does Wallace State help students to maximize their earnings and employment potential, to maximize their return on investment, and how have we maximized student outcomes? Simply stated, we focus on powerful partnerships and purposeful pathways to good jobs that pay a living wage.
Congressman Robert Adderholt, chairman of the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Labor, Health and Human Services, and Education, said Karlowicz's testimony underscored the critical role community colleges play in strengthening Alabama's workforce and preparing students for successful careers. Coming up next on sports, Holly Pond advances to the Elite Eight. Sports is next. Welcome back. Let's lead off today's sports segment with a look at how one of our local teams is doing at the Northwest Regional Tournament. After downing Colbert County in the sub-regional, the Holly Pond Lady Broncos were back on the court competing in the Northwest Regional semifinals at Wallace State Wednesday morning. The Broncos trailed the Bobcats late in the fourth quarter, but Madison Butts scored several points in the final 2 minutes, including a pair of free throws with 13 seconds on the clock to help lead Holly Pond to a 40-37 win and a spot in the Northwest Regional Finals. Maggie Nail and Madison Butts each knocked down three-pointers to give Holly Pond an early 6-3 lead, and Nail split a pair of free throws later in the period to keep the Broncos in front 7-5. Millie Huddleston scored to make it a 9-5 game with 2 minutes to play in the opening period. Millie McBee laid one in to give Holly Pond an 11-7 lead late in the first quarter, but Phil Campbell responded with a 6-0 run to finish the first and take a 13-11 lead into the second. Points were hard to come by for both teams in the second quarter. The Bobcats pulled ahead 15-11, but Butts drove to the basket and scored with just over a minute remaining to trim the lead to 15-13. However, Phil Campbell was able to add one more basket in the final seconds of the half to take a 17-13 lead into the locker room at the break. The Broncos came out firing early in the third quarter, taking a 23-17 lead with a pair of McBee baskets and a pair of three-pointers from Butts. Nail laid one in to keep Holly Pond ahead 25-20 with 2 minutes to play in the period, but the Bobcats capped the third with a 7-0 run to take a 27-25 lead into the fourth. Nail knocked down a three to give the Broncos a 28-27 lead early in the fourth quarter, and after McBee split a pair of free throws, Sadie Nail scored inside to tie the game at 31 with just over 4 minutes remaining. After Phil Campbell retook the lead, Sadie Nail hit a couple free throws later in the period to cut the deficit to 35-33. That's when Butts took over on the offensive end, draining a three with 2 minutes to play to bring the lead down to 37-36. Butts sank a pair of free throws with 41 seconds remaining to give the Broncos a 1-point lead, and with just 13 seconds on the clock, Butts buried two more from the line to make it a 3-point game. Holly Pond held on the defensive end to get the last stop it needed and secured its spot in the Elite Eight with a 40-37 win over the Bobcats. Holly Pond will be back on the court Friday to play either Mars Hill or Lauderdale County in the Northwest Regional Finals. That wraps up sports for today. After the break, we'll bring you 4 stories in under 4 minutes, including a daddy-daughter date night and Goat Island Valentine's event. Welcome back. Now it's time to speed things up with a news rundown, 4 stories in under 4 minutes. The 28th annual Great Backyard Bird Count is slated for February 14th through 17th. It's also National Bird Feeding Month, and these two events unite bird enthusiasts as they feed, observe, and report bird sightings. The Great Backyard Bird Count invites participants to contribute valuable data to aid scientists in understanding avian populations and their distributions. Wesley Anderson, an Alabama Cooperative Extension System wildlife specialist, said that having hundreds of thousands of people make a concerted effort to identify birds during these dates really helps researchers get a better understanding of the species that are in each area during this time of the year. To find a Great Backyard Bird Count event in Alabama near you, visit www.birdcount.org/community-map. Cullman High School's cheerleading teams finished high after their performance earlier this month at the National High School Cheer Competition, hosted at the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex in Orlando, Florida. The varsity cheerleading team finished third in large D2 traditional and 11th in super varsity D2 game day at the competition. The junior varsity, game day, and traditional cheerleading teams finished second in D2. Coach Elizabeth Pylant noted the varsity team made an impressive showing and leaves a powerful legacy with the program, saying they competed with heart, strength, and integrity. And of the junior varsity, Pylant noted the next generation of Cullman High cheerleaders seem poised to continue and build on their success in years to come. The coaches for Cullman Cheer include Pylant, Savannah Ball, Christy Patterson, and Ashley Wilbanks. Valentine's Week is a popular time to go on a date. Annabelle Howes has a sweet story to share about some very special dates.
Chick-fil-A's annual Daddy-Daughter Date Night offered more than just delicious food. It gave fathers and daughters of all ages a night filled with fun and excitement. While their signature chicken may attract large crowds, this event focused on strengthening the bond between fathers and daughters.
This event isn't just about the food. It's about enjoying the special memories being made. From enjoying a daddy-daughter dance to capturing the night with a keepsake photo, this event is a celebration of the bond between a father and a daughter, a love that grows with every laugh, every hug, and every shared moment.
Cullman Chick-fil-A owner Randy Ernest shares a bit about the purpose of the event and what he hopes the fathers and daughters will take away from it.
The purpose of this is just to have daughters and dads get together, have a date, really teach them what a date night's all about. Let us teach our daughters how men should treat them. My biggest takeaway is I hope they have fun. We've always had a blast, from dressing up as a princess when they're little to a nice young lady now. And so really that's our goal. And just to stand and watch all of those people having fun is really our goal, that they have a good, wholesome night of fun.
What started out as a small gathering in the restaurant has now expanded to a larger off-site venue, and the overwhelming response from the community has solidified its status as a cherished tradition. With smiles, laughter, and unforgettable moments, this year's event was truly a success. This has been Annabelle Howes with Cullman Today.
Goat Island Brewing will be hosting a one-of-a-kind Valentine's event featuring exclusive beer pairings with decadent desserts, a special Valentine's Day brew release, and live music by Natchez Trace Band to set the mood. Other event highlights include happy hour from 1 to 4 and dinner created by Smokin' Joe's. One of the owners at Goat Island Brewing, Mike Mullaney, said the goal is to create a unique and fun Valentine's experience that brings people together to enjoy great beer, great company, and a relaxed, festive atmosphere. The celebration will take place at Goat Island Brewing on Friday, February 14th. And that's your 4 stories in under 4 minutes. Now for a quick break before we look at the weather ahead and pay our respects with obituaries. I'll be right back after this quick message.
Step into Cullman, where local heroes and community spirit shine. Introducing Community Matters Magazine from the Cullman Tribune, your guide to inspiring tales and community spirit. Celebrate our local champions and dive into the festivities at Christ Kindle Market. Feel the season's cheer and discover stories that inspire. Community Matters Magazine. Connect with your community. Find your free issue at these locations or download a copy online.
Let's take a moment to pause and remember those who have lost their lives this week as we turn to obituaries. Gina Panter Bailey, age 71, of Cullman, passed away on Wednesday, February 5th. Memorial services will be announced at a later time. Our thoughts and prayers go out to her friends and family. Now let's take a moment to look ahead at your weather forecast. This morning we'll see cloudy skies through mid-morning, then gradual clearing with a high near 48 and a low around 26. Friday will be mostly sunny with a high near 55, then showers likely Friday night, mainly after midnight, with a low around 45. And that wraps up today's edition of Cullman Today. Thank you for sharing your morning with us, and remember to stay connected by following us on social media and visiting CullmanTribune.com for the latest from our community. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. I'm Christine Wiggins with Cullman Today. Have a terrific Thursday, Cullman.